शलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिकाकांत श्रीराधाकांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतलेश्वरे भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिने नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे विशेषणाचार्य भगवती गिरिं यत्कृपादमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं परमानन्दमाधवं श्री चैतन्य ईश्वरम्। ओम तत्सत्। हरे कृष्ण। So I'm thinking of very soon in another 1 or 2 classes we can begin discussions on Srimad Bhagavad. We have completed an nectar of instruction. I want to do a course on at least a primary course on Vaishnava culture and etiquette also. I think quite a few are away, so I'm just waiting for a little more time, and then we will head on to the Srimad Bhagavad. So maybe by first week of August, I think we will start Srimad Bhagavad. The way things stand now, we will start the class in Krishna temple very soon. Maybe either upcoming week or the week after next. That's how it looks like. So that class we are going to start again from the very basics, and we may also go through the course there. Let's see how it progresses. But we have around 20-30 people who have already shown interest to come and participate in the classes there. So those classes, the way it stands now, we think we will most likely have them on a Wednesday evening. But we'll let you know. We are in discussion with the management there. So Wednesday evening, maybe 8:30 to 9:30. So as it gets confirmed, I will let all of you know. So of course, if you are attending the class here, you have already attended the full Bhagavad Gita course, then you can all continue to attend the class here, because here we will be going forward, we will be going deeper into the subject. That class is again going to start from ABC for those who haven't yet any formal exposure to the Bhagavad Gita key concepts. So we'll start from the very basics there. If somebody wants to attend both, that is wonderful. If you cannot attend both, yeah. Currently we are thinking 8:30 to 9:30. Yes, 8:30 to 9:30.
Where is the temple?
In the Krishna temple, Scott Villa Scott, the Krishna temple, they have a hall downstairs. So the management, they approached me and said, why don't you come and enlighten the congregation on Bhagavad Gita. So I need all of your help. Please reach out, and we are starting afresh. So please feel free date I will announce time soon. Some WhatsApp messages are already going around.
Is date confirmed?
Almost confirmed. I will get a confirmation today, tomorrow on the exact details, but it's almost confirmed. I'm waiting for a formal letter, but as of now it seems like what I hear from them verbally is that they have recommended Wednesday to start, and it's a nice facility. They will give us chairs and mic and all that, so they said they will give some facilities. We are negotiating with them on the air conditioning, so let's see what comes out, just so that devotees are a bit more comfortable. Most people in Kali Yuga are not tapasvis, so if there is bodily discomfort, they cannot focus. So let's see what comes out. But that's the intention. So why I'm telling this is so that you know what will be the difference between what we are going to be discussing here and there. This we are moving to a higher topic. So this class will be for those who are already familiar with the basic ideas and concepts, and who now are sadhakas who actually want to develop their devotion to the Lord, go deeper in spiritual life. So those who are already serious about going deeper, of course you should come here also. If you are not sufficiently attended the previous one, you can come here also.
Is there any possibility to start from here? Here, every Saturday.
Start what? Every
Start
Saturday?
from scratch, Bhagavad Gita.
No, not here.
Not here, there only.
After we complete Srimad Bhagavatam, maybe, I don't know. Maybe after 7 years. That too, optimistically speaking. Suboptimal will be after 15 years.
How does Avatar become Sattva?
Because our capacity to understand and absorb is so slow. I remember when Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, who is the guru of Srila Prabhupada, he started giving talk on Srimad Bhagavat. The first verse of Srimad Bhagavat, 1.1.1. You know his class was how long? Only 1.1.1. Roughly, make a guess. How long was his class? How long was his class on the first verse?
1 month?
Yes, almost a month. Just class on 1.1, and this is not, it's like almost, I think, morning to evening every day. I think 20 or 21 days.
8 hours a day.
I don't know exactly how many hours, but it was quite a few hours a day. I think 21 days or something like that. He spoke only on one verse. Because that verse is so profound, so deep. Our capacity to understand and assimilate is so poor that we need elaboration. It's like this, no? If you're already adept in a subject, I can talk to you on that subject and I will tell one line and you will understand it fully. If you're not adept at the subject, I have to start with explaining the basic terminology, what it means, what is the concept behind it, what is the framework behind it. I have to explain so much more before I can make you understand. Yes? Correct or not? Okay. For a physicist, you can just say, E is equal to mc square. But somebody who is not familiar with physics, you have to explain E is energy. Then you have to explain what is energy. To explain energy, you have to start with the concept of work. To explain work, you have to start with the concept of force. Then you talk about displacement. Then you have to say force into displacement is work. Then you have to explain what is force. For that you have to come to motion. You have to come to mass. You go all the way down because he doesn't know anything. You understand? Okay? So, and this is the problem that many people who hear spiritual subject matters have. Because they do not start from the fundamentals, just because they think they understand English, they think they can understand Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavad. It is not about understanding the language, it is about understanding the terminology of the subject, not the English language. Because even if you say soul, in English, different people draw so many meanings from the soul. What is your meaning of soul? Even if you say God, what is the meaning of God? You can draw 1001 meanings from the word God. You say liberation, so many meanings. Devotion, so many meanings. So what exactly is the philosophical framework? So we have to be familiar.
Salvation also same meaning?
Huh? Salvation. No, salvation can have salvation is also like liberation. Yes. Similar. Salvation, liberation are something similar. But there are different levels of salvation and liberation. Yeah? If your boss is torturing you, yeah, and you resign from the job and take a new job, that is also liberation. Correct? If your maid leaves your job and goes to another house, for the maid it may also be liberation. Liberated from this place and I am going to another. So there is liberation at different levels. Salvation at different levels. Happiness at different levels. Yeah. Sorry?
Liberation is ultimate.
Ultimate. Freedom from all suffering. Because in the material world you become liberated from one only to be trapped into another. So when we talk about mukti from a spiritual perspective, it is basically freedom from, again, repeated birth and death. Freedom from samsara. So anyway, coming back to the topic, so the philosophical framework has to be solid. Once the philosophical framework is solid, then you can jump into Bhagavad. Because Bhagavatam is coming into the practice of the philosophy, where one experiences the higher aspects of the relationship with the Lord. So we will keep this class for those who are wanting to taste that a bit more deeper. And if you are not fully familiar with the philosophical framework, you should also attend those classes. If you attend both, it is best. So that is my current intention. But Bhagavatam, even if you do, Bhagavatam is around 18,000 shlokas. Ashtadasha Sahasraha. Bhagavad Gita is how many shlokas? 700. So divide 18,000 by 700. How many times? Correct? At least 20 plus times. Correct? 20 times itself is 14,000. 23, 24 times. And we took 3 years to complete Bhagavad Gita. 65 years we will need. That will come to that topic. When we come to Bhagavatam, we will come. So we will not jump into that topic now.
Okay. Now we understand the background of this Bhagavad Gita, where Arjuna was not.
So I will start with the background of Bhagavatam. Don't worry. No. I'm just telling you what I'm going to do.
Okay.
So I will start with the background. No worries. We will not go into that now. So we understand what is Bhagavatam, what it is about. We'll get an overview. Then we'll go. We'll not start from verse 1 on day 1. Don't worry. Same thing like what we did with Gita. Slowly develop the subject matter. So we have an appreciation for the subject. So I appreciate your eagerness. Good. That eagerness is very welcome, but patience is also a virtue. So you should feel that, when I will hear about the Bhagavatam. So that kind of longing will purify you. The longing to hear about Krishna is the qualification to hear about Krishna. So that is my current thinking. God willing, inshallah. So if God wills it and blesses, then it may be so. If He doesn't wish, then I cannot do anything. But this is my thinking. If we need His sanction, so we will use this forum for those who are a bit more serious, those who have already, to some extent, come to the conclusion that yes, I want to actively live a life based on the principles of Gita and Bhagavad.
Also, there's some of the students from there, if they want to join also, they can join.
Anybody can join. We are not going to stop anybody from anywhere.
Stay if they want to come on Saturday also.
We are not going to stop. There is no policing, there is no control, there is no. I'm not going to ask mark sheet
The
for
more people
admission.
attend, the more people attend, they will benefit from.
There's no restriction. But the only thing is what we are saying is, if you understand the basic, it will be easier to follow here. But we will not tell anybody you cannot come here until you have attended there. No, no restriction. Okay. Maybe some people just may find that I cannot attend Wednesday, I can only attend Saturday. You are welcome. So maybe they'll take a little longer to figure out things, but over time they'll gradually figure out. We'll try to help them. So that is the thinking. And so let's see. So please pray. Does that make sense? Of course, I am welcome to inputs. I am just sharing. I am not taking any unilateral decision, but this is just my thought. What do you think?
Prashad they will serve or have it
Under discussion.
So thinking is in goodness mood and it will happen.
They are offering to share some prasad also there. They are offering. So let's see. It's under discussion. Yeah. Shalini ji, what is your input? She is the longest standing student. Both classes is better. The more you hear, the better. So all of you are welcome. Yeah. So the idea is that side we can also reach out to many people there who may find for whatever reason it more difficult here. So please feel free to circulate that into whatever networks you have. And we have some other plans also to reach out, which I will share in due course. Let's see. Krishna will know all these things. Yeah. So I just want to use, so there are two things I want to do before I start Bhagavatam. Not two things, one thing I want to do before we start Bhagavatam, which is to discuss on Vaishnava culture and etiquette. But I want some of the students who are currently not here to be here. So probably we'll start next week. Hemant also recently come today. Then Meenalji is also not here. Ravi is also not here today. So at least I want Ravi, Hemant and Meenal to be here. So maybe next week, let me check with them on their availability, then we will do. I need at least 2 weeks to discuss about etiquette and culture. And that is very important, like what I mentioned, there are 4 important S. 4 S of spiritual evolution. Anybody remembers?
4S.
4 S. We discussed it earlier.
We discussed the ABCD.
We discussed ABCD also. ABCD maps to various S. Yes. Siddhanta, Sadhana,
Seva and Sadachara. I'm just
Seva and Sadhana. Very good. See, he remembered. Huh?
excellent.
Give him a round of applause. Very good, very good. She's a great soul.
I have a cheating.
He's Mahatma. That's why he knows. So he's listening. So Siddhanta means understanding the philosophy. Sadhana means doing practice, individual practice. Seva means extending oneself to serve the Lord. And the serving the Lord includes serving the community. And the 4th is the culture of the practice. How you interact with others around you. What is the cultural practice, the etiquette of that interaction. This cultural practice is based on the Siddhanta. It's based on the Siddhanta. It is actually an expression of the Siddhanta. So we should learn that, because when we learn that, then our behavior becomes aligned with our philosophical understanding. Yes? Correct? Very simple point, right? Etiquette will say, when you are sitting in the temple, don't spread your legs towards the Lord. Yes? Have you heard this?
Yes.
When I was very young, I used to go to the temple, I used to just sit against a pillar and I would just stretch my legs out. And then my parents would say, fold your legs, don't stretch. I said, why? point your feet towards the KT. Why we should not point? It is disrespectful. So when we are in front of a great personality, when we come to worship him, we have to maintain a particular decorum when we are there. Yes? Correct? So it is based on the philosophy that we accept that the Lord is the master, we are the servant. That is the philosophical understanding. So we have to act according to the understanding. So that is important. So these etiquettes are not whimsical rules which have just been concocted by somebody. They are all principles which are, they are not principles, they are practices or guidelines which are based on the principles and the philosophy of the Gita and the Bhagavad. And they nourish and support the development of spiritual consciousness. That is why they are important. It is not just a matter of show. It is not just a matter of show. When you follow the proper etiquette, it actually nourishes the right sentiment. Yes, it's important. External things impact the internals. Some people say, why to bother about external? Why to bother about external? No, it matters. External is not as important as internal. Yes. But you cannot say that I will only cultivate internal but not bother about external. That can happen at very, very advanced levels of consciousness. But for sadhakas like us, externals are important. Yes. Just like an army man cannot say, I have a gun and I know how to shoot it, I am well trained, why does it matter? I will come in Bermudas and Banyan to work. Yeah. So if he is walking on the Indo-Pak border with his Bermudas and his Banyan with the gun in his hand, it doesn't affect my work. Does it affect the work? He may think not, but actually it does. Whether he realizes it or not, it will, because how you are dressed impacts your mood. How you are dressed and how others see you, how you are dressed impacts their mood. And definitely on the other side of the border, when they see you, it will impact their mood also. So these things matter. These things matter. So to channel the consciousness in a proper way, it is very important to follow certain guidelines which are based on certain principles. So we will discuss this a bit more elaborately. We'll probably need 2 sessions for that. So today I am going to do like a filler. Yes. But when I say filler, this doesn't mean that it is not important. Yeah. Filler doesn't mean that we are discussing something useless, but filler in the sense that I want to give this opportunity to all of you for whatever we have discussed so far. If you have any questions about anything related to the philosophy or practice or sadhana, anything with respect to Krishna consciousness. Yeah, so we'll open the floor to that. Yes.
Yes, have you heard? I'm sure you would know about Sharanagati. Somebody was asking me about Sharanagati. So what is Sharanagati?
Oh, Sharanagati, yes, you wanted to discuss. Sharanagati is what the Lord talks about. Sarvadharman Parityaja Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja. Sharan. Sharanagati means, Gati means to go. Sharan is take shelter. To go and take shelter of somebody is Sharanagati. So what is the meaning of Sharanagati? Sharanagati has a very technical definition also. I don't know whether I remember the words fully well or not. But in very simple words, Sharanagati essentially means to accept those things which are favorable to spiritual life, to reject those things which are not favorable to spiritual life, to feel oneself dependent on the mercy of the Lord, to understand the Lord as one's protector, to understand the Lord as one's maintainer, and to maintain a humble mood in front of the Lord. These are the 6 limbs of Sharanagati. अनुकूलस्य संकल्प प्रतिकूलस्य वर्जनम भोक्तृत्वे वर्णम तथा आत्मनिक्षेप कार्पण्ये षड्विधा शरणागति. This is the verse. So these are what I spoke is the 6 things. Okay, so quick recollection. 6 limbs: accepting that which is favorable to devotion to the Lord, rejecting those things which are unfavorable. Just like in a relationship, when we are in love, we try to do things which the other person likes, and we avoid things that the other person likes. It's a symptom of love, isn't it? Yeah, correct. Sometimes we like something, but just because somebody whom we love doesn't like it, we just say, okay, let me not do this. Then feeling that the Lord is protecting us, and that He is maintaining us. So the devotee always feels dependent on the Lord. Sharan mein aana means, correct, even in the material sense, when you take surrender to somebody, what that means? I am dependent on you. You can protect me, you can kill me. Not only you can protect me, kill me, but you have to maintain me also because I am surrendered to you. Yes. And all that means you have to take a humble mood. All this is not done forcefully, but willingly you have given yourself and taken a lower position in front of a superior. Sharana agata. Yes, come. And that's a very big thing. It's a very big thing. A proper Sharanagati is a very, very big attainment. And the Lord values it so much. The Lord values it so much that if somebody takes Sharanagati, the Lord doesn't consider anything about his background. All that matters is right now he surrendered to me. Bas, end of story. Past hisab, as long as he has to be serious and not just filmy dialogue. भगवान मैंने आज तक कुछ नहीं मांगा. Not some filmy dialogue like that. Genuinely. When, I'll tell you a story from the Ramayana. When Lord Ram had come to the tip of India, Rameshwaram, and then he was wanting to cross over, and they were all wondering what to do, how to make bridge, and all these plans were going on. At one time, on the other side, Vibhishan tried to convince Ravana very much. Told him, boss, you better surrender. You don't know, you think he's an ordinary human being, just his Duta has created havoc. Okay? The monkey is just his messenger, he has created havoc. You couldn't do anything to him also. You burnt your house. At least now have some sense. Just go and surrender, otherwise you won't be finished. But Ravana didn't take it kindly. In fact, he banished Vibhishan. He said, get lost. You are an enemy person who sides with the enemy, get lost. So Vibhishan, having no other means, and after having tried his best, he comes over in front of Lord Ram. And he holds his hand and tells Ram, I am the brother of Ravan, I want to surrender to you. So Lord Ram Chandra is sitting, Lakshman is there, Hanuman is there, Sugriva is there, Angad is there, Shambhavan is there, all sitting, and Vibhishan comes. So Lord Ram looks at everybody else and says, see, Vibhishan has come to surrender, what should I do? So some monkeys advise him, अरे अभी मौका मिले ना पकड़ के इसको मार डालो. Got a chance to finish him off. So why? No, because these are Rakshasas. You cannot trust them. And that is true. That is the nature. The Rakshasas, they are so deceitful by nature. No matter how nice they become. That's what Ravana did, right? To steal Sita, he dressed himself as a Brahman. That's what Shurpanka did when she tried to approach. She dressed herself. So the nature of the demons is yena kena prakarena. किसी भी तरह से अपना, your objective is all that, the means doesn't matter, the means justify the end. So sorry, the end justifies the means. Okay? So what I want is what matters. It doesn't matter how I achieve it. So some of them were strongly objecting. So after taking everybody's opinion, I don't remember all the dialogues, it's a long conversation in the Valmiki Ramayana, but there were different opinions given. Some opinions saying reject him, some opinions saying kill him, some opinions of different types. But finally Lord Ram said, okay, now I will tell what is my opinion. And Lord Ram says that it is my vow, that if a person comes to me and sincerely says even once, Sakrad eva tava asmi iti yachate. O Lord, from this day I am yours. What does that mean? Sharanagati, no? That is the essential statement of Sharanagati. Aaj ke din se main aapka ho gaya. So all these 6 items are included in that. Yes, correct? I have become yours. Tava asmi iti yachate. I have become yours. The Lord says, it is my vow that I will never ever abandon that person. I will give him full protection immediately. And to extend that a bit more, even if later that person forgets, he did Sharanagati at that time, but later he forgets and he goes astray, the Lord says, I will not forget. Because once he came to me, and that time he was sincere. After that, I consider him as mine. You surrendered to me once, I consider you as. Even if you forget, I will ensure that I revive you to your spiritual consciousness again. So that is how the Lord feels. Why I am telling you this is how the Lord feels. So if one wants to get in the umbrella of the Lord's protection, Lord's protection is of 2 types. Who knows? Of course, there are many types of protection. Broadly, there are two kinds of grace that we expect from the Lord. Okay. One is Rakshan. Protect me from danger. And what is the other? Poshan. Nourish me materially, spiritually, to ensure that I have what I need. So we say Rakshamam and Pahimam. Correct? Rama Raghav, Rama Raghav, Rama Raghav, Rakshamam, Krishna Keshav, Krishna Keshav, Krishna Keshav, Pahimam. You want the Lord not only to protect, because if you are protected but you have nothing to eat, what are you going to do? But if you have a lot of things to eat but nobody is protecting you, what are you going to do? So you need both. See, all our prayers are so intelligently designed. They are not just whimsically designed. Both dimensions are very important. Yes? Protection is also important. Good fortune of making sure. And the word poshan is such a beautiful word. Pahi or poshan. Poshan means what? Nourishment. It is not just gathering. It is not just accumulation. It is nourishment. Correct? Yes? What is more important? Lot of food or lot of nourishment? What is ultimately needed is nourishment. Because you may have food, but you may still not get nourishment. Is it possible? Is it possible you have food but you don't have nourishment? Possible?
Eat wrong kind of food.
Huh?
Eat wrong kind of food. So you
What?
eat food, but you're not nourishment.
One is wrong type of food. What else? No, that is true. What you said is correct. A bit more deeper. A bit more deeper. Let's say I give you the right kind of food.
You're not able to digest it.
You must have the capacity to digest it, no? You understand or not?
Yes.
Correct? Yeah. You may have the best foods in front of you, but if you don't have the capacity to digest, you will not be able. What is digestion? Digestion is the capacity to draw nourishment from the food that is given to you. You understand? Correct? Yeah? True or not? If you cannot digest it, it is passing through the system, but you are not able to absorb. So what I am saying is, good fortune doesn't just mean getting lot of things, because even after getting lot of things, one may still not get peace and satisfaction and happiness. One may not be able to digest it. You understand? Correct? So what is important? Not just getting things. That's why in our culture, we don't just ask for blessings of things. Hey, at the end of the day, let me be peaceful, satisfied and happy. Shanti honi chahiye, sukh hona chahiye. Correct? There must be sukh, there must be shanti, there must be santushti. Otherwise, even if you have a lot of things, what is the value? That means you have things but you cannot digest. Then you become like Hiranyakashipu. Have everything but frustrated. Yes? Okay. Anyway. So, that was a brief answer about Sharanagati. Yeah? Anything else? Any other questions? So, Sharanagati is our goal. Anything from any chapters of the Gita or any concept, any practice. The Gita and the Srimad Bhagavad are full of questions. Full of questions. So when I was reading, sometimes I was wondering, there are two great souls who are meeting. And one great soul is asking another great soul a question. And I was thinking, how come he doesn't know the answer to this question? Why is he asking this question to this person? But actually, it's not always that the person who asks a question doesn't know the answer to the question. They ask because the same truth can be understood in so many ways, in so many perspectives, and in so many varieties of sweetness. And when it comes from the realizations of different devotees, it becomes so much more sweeter. So devotees are expecting are not just necessarily only the philosophical aspect, but the rasa and the deep answer emanating from the experience of the devotee. When it comes from the experience of the devotee, it is much more profound and solid. The Bhagavatam is full of questions. Full of questions. Beginning to end. Hare Krishna. If you don't have questions, I'll ask you questions.
I don't understand the three gunas.
What you want to do? The question must be very pinpointed. Otherwise, I'll give 1 hour class. No, what you did not understand about the gunas? Or is it that you have not understood anything about the gunas? So you do not understand what are the gunas?
And
How we can?
applies to us actually.
How the gunas applies to us? Who wants to answer the question? Anybody else has the same question? Shanji, you know the answer to the question? What are the 3 gunas? Rajogun, Sattvagun, Rajogun and Tamogun. So what is this guna? What is this? What is the guna? So what is a guna? What are these 3 gunas? It's like 3 flavors, right? But flavors of what? Like vanilla, chocolate and strawberry are 3 flavors of ice cream, for example. So Sattva guna, Rajo guna, Tamo guna. Guna means quality. Yes? Yes? Quality of what? Quality of consciousness. Okay? Because ultimately what matters to us is the quality of the consciousness. Even when we call other things in particular gunas, this is in this guna, that is, it is in the context of how that thing or substance affects our consciousness. That is why it is called like that, because it affects our consciousness to develop that quality. A nice, fresh, beautiful, sweet-smelling flower. Why is it sattvic? Because when I smell it, it helps to transform my consciousness into a happy, pleasant consciousness. Yes? Why is alcohol in Tamoguna? Because when I associate with the alcohol, it causes in me a kind of stupor, a kind of dulling of the consciousness, a kind of forgetfulness which is characteristic of the moment. You understand? Yeah. So I'll just give a 2-minute pravachan on gunas. Okay? It's a very huge topic. But basically, the spirit soul is pure consciousness. Pure spiritual consciousness. Think of it as transparent water. Yes? Where in the transparent water one can see through it very clearly as things as they are. But that same water, when it becomes in contact with matter, that consciousness, the pure quality of that consciousness becomes contaminated by the colors of material energy. Yes. White, Sattva-guna color, white color not too bad. Red color, the mode of passion, and black color, the mode of ignorance. And because black, one can barely see anything through it. Red, already a bit difficult to see. White, still can see through a little bit. So these are different qualities. So if you have these qualities, it is saying that these qualities of Tamoguna, which are characteristics of Tamoguna, make it very difficult for you to understand what your self is. Those which are Rajasic are midway. And those who are Sattvic are conducive for spiritual evolution. So the general principle in the scriptures is one must strive first to come to the mode of goodness. And to come to the mode of goodness, one must do activities which induce goodness associate with substances, things, people, places which stimulate the mode of goodness. Eat a mango instead of eating fish curry, for example. It will help you to remain in sattva. So it promotes food, clothing, music, books, friends, everything, anything in this world can be categorized on the three modes. Again, depending on how they affect our consciousness. Yes? If you go to a temple, automatically it helps us to have divine thoughts. So we say, oh, that's a sattvic place. If you go to a movie, immediately the whole environment will make you passionate by nature. Yes? What a passionate place. If you go to a bar at night, the dim lights, the whole ambience, the kind of music, the food and drinks, or everything will induce you in a particular mode. So you say, this is tamasic. So you avoid tamasic. Also try to avoid rajasic. Try to maximize sattva. Maximize. There's nothing like 100%. 100% may not be possible also. So the more you are in sattva guna, the more easier it is for you to see reality as it is. And from the platform of sattva guna, it is easier to practice sadhana. If you are in rajasic, tamasic is practically impossible. Rajasic you can, but you will struggle. But in sattva guna, it is easy to remain steady in spiritual practice and to make tangible progress. That's why you want sattva guna. Sattva guna is used as a springboard to transcend and to become pure again for you. Yes? Yes.
Two questions, Prabhu. How to transcend the duality of life? And is it important to transcend otherwise you again, you're stuck in this duality of life? And second thing is how to kill your ego. Or is there a good ego or bad ego? Or the ego should be completely killed?
Okay, I'll answer that. Is it clear about the three gunas so far? Any questions? Okay, so we will try to briefly answer the two questions. So one is about the ego and the first one was dualities. How to transcend the dualities.
And is it required like good and bad? So that is basically complementary. So is it necessary to transcend? Or enjoy the good moment, then when bad, then okay?
Very good question. Okay. Yeah. Good and bad, happiness and distress, victory and defeat, these are all dualities. When we say duality, first thing is one must understand what is the meaning of duality. And what is the problem with duality? Let's understand that a bit. Then we'll understand what is the need to be free from it. And then we will ask the question how to be free from it. Okay. So what is the meaning of duality? What do you think is the meaning of duality?
So everything is complementary. We are stuck in this good and bad. It's like pendulum. One side is good, one side is bad. We are stuck whole life into this. We are not able to come out of this.
Okay. Okay. What else? Any other explanation of the term duality?
Attachment.
Attachment is the cause of duality. Okay. What else? What is the meaning of duality? Now he gave one understanding. Not that it is wrong, but I want a more concise explanation of duality. What is the meaning of duality?
So we see both joy and sorrow. They are not always joyful, but not always sorrowful.
If you are on the right track.
Consciousness is having both things, plus and minus.
Okay, good. You are on the right track.
Things are changing constantly, so you should feel attached to one thing.
It may not be a pendulum. How we are taking it based on the negative or to the positive. Because always we need to be
help.
We need to keep our consciousness very calm.
Only when we are balanced, only then we can transcend this duality. Otherwise, we are always stuck into this.
The good means we don't need to be more happy.
So we need to maintain equanimity. So if we are good, we don't have to jump, and if we are sorrow, then we don't have depression. So equanimity should come, balanced life.
You're all correct. Whatever you're saying is all perfect and wonderful. But I'm looking for a very concise definition of what is duality. A very fundamental, basic understanding. Because it's very important to understand. If one understands that point, most of the problems one is able to sort out. Let me give you an example. Let's say, you tell me what it means. Let's say I go to a electrical shop. I go to an electrical shop and I say that I want a battery. Battery means a cell. I want a cell which has only a positive terminal. Only positive terminal. What will he tell you? No such thing exists. No, I've seen batteries there, there's a positive terminal and negative. I don't want a negative terminal, I want only the positive terminal. So why do you do this? You take the battery, you cut it from the middle, you remove the negative part out, the remaining positive terminal. Correct or not? Electronic, electrical students, any electrical students? Can I do like that? What will happen if I do like that? By nature it is bipolar. Once you say negative means there is a positive. Once you say positive means there is a negative. Either there is zero or there is both positive and negative. Only two states are possible.
The positive and negative actually we are making in ourselves.
One by one, step by step. Okay, let's first understand this.
This is correct.
Okay. So when we say duality, what duality means is they are actually inseparable parts of each other. They are sometimes explained as two sides of the same coin. Okay. But you may say no. Sometimes I am happy. When sometimes you are happy, that means one side is showing, the other side is not showing. But inherent within the side which is showing is the other side. But it is not manifested now. It's just a matter of time, it's going to be like this. Which means, if you ask for positive, negative will come with it. If you ask for negative, positive will come with it. That is the nature. If you are chasing for victory, you must be prepared for defeat, because whenever you contest, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Sometimes you will gain, sometimes you will lose. Sometimes you will be happy, sometimes you will be sad. So they come always together. You cannot say, I want only one side of the equation. So duality essentially means this. It is not possible. It is impossible. By nature, it is not. It is impossible. Okay? So that is one of the very fundamental, and that's why it is called as duality. You cannot say, I accept. And the problem with mankind is in the material state, because dualities exist only in the material consciousness. Dualities exist in the material consciousness. The problem with conditioned mind is it is perpetually searching for a situation where it gets only all the positives and eliminates the negatives. And that is the illusion that it has. I want only victory, I want only happiness, I want only gain. So it's always trying to cut the cell to remove the other part. And every time it cuts and throws this, again a positive and a negative.
That is natural human nature.
Exactly, yes. Yeah, but the human nature is natural, but it is based on the misunderstanding that within the material realm, it is possible to get only one side of the situation without the other.
Happiness, see the sorrow also.
Are already there. Are already there in it. Yeah? Very simple, no? You just think of it like this. Any object / person / situation / thing or / whatever you call it, that gives you happiness. You want to accept? Fine. That's what we are all looking for, right? Okay. So happiness comes from a situation, from a person, from a thing. Let's not complicate it too much. Typically, these three, right? Okay. So you are desiring for it. Let's say you are fortunate enough to get it. Person, thing or situation. How come inherent within it is misery? Is it inherent? It is a source of joy for you. You got it. Of course, there are many answers to this question, but one most obvious answer is the person may go from your life, the situation will change, the thing will either eventually deteriorate or can be taken away. Once you get it, your mind will become attached to it, and once it becomes attached to it, once that situation, place, thing, whatever goes away, immediately the other side of the coin will flip. It is inherent. Why it is inherent? Now that's a very deep question. Why is it inherent?
Because you are attached to it. Things change, so since you are attached to it, then you have a problem.
You are in the right direction. You are in the right direction. The basic understanding is, as long as you look for that happiness in something outside of yourself and which is beyond your control, you are going to subject yourself to the other side of the coin. That's the basic point.
Attachment, desire.
So all these things will come. Because something outside of you is not within your control.
And you are attaching your happiness to it.
And you attach your happiness to it, and that is fleeting and changing. Once you invest into something as a source of happiness, and that itself is unstable, and the nature of the world is all material things are unstable by nature. Isn't it just simple logic that you are essentially exposing yourself to the risk at any moment you can become miserable? Correct? Which is out of your control. No matter how skilled you are, how equipped you are, how smart you are, how rich you are, how powerful you are, from the topmost person in this universe to the most insignificant person in this universe, all are subjected to this. Because nobody else other than the Supreme Absolute Truth is in full control. Yes. Yeah, you want to say something?
So Supreme Being is away, that's not the appreciation.
Yes, correct. They are always in a state of flux, they are perishable. So neither happiness lasts forever nor misery lasts forever. And when you invest or attach your consciousness to seek a particular experience from a person, a thing or a situation, because a person, thing or situation will also change. And as it changes, immediately what was the source of happiness at one time, because you are attached to it, it goes away, it creates pain. Yes. So the philosophy of the scriptures begins with this principle. Do not try to be attached to an external source of happiness which is impermanent. So, and it tells you you cannot only get one and not get the other. So what is the solution out? The solution out is practice equanimity while you are in this world. Because you try always to go in this direction, but if you go in this direction, you'll be forced to go in this direction. You'll be forced. Okay, so follow the middle path. Yes, what is the middle path? Neither be attached to happiness nor hate misery. Because hating misery is also a problem. Yoga samatvam uchyate. Krishna says, what is yoga? Samatvam. Look at it in equal way. But then some people say, what such an uninteresting life you are promoting. This is the immediate thought which comes in the mind. I would rather enjoy and also suffer rather than neither experience joy nor suffer. And this is the common reaction of the material consciousness. Okay? So I am asking you this question. How will you respond back to it? How will you
So
respond?
the whole idea is not to get attached. So if it happens, enjoy it but not getting attached to it. And if the bad time also comes, then you don't get attached to it. Okay, you face it, but live it. Do not get too much affected. I think that is how you need to live life.
What do you think? What do you think of Prabhu's proposal? How many of you agree with Prabhu's proposal?
So we both
Raise your
we
hand.
are attached towards that actually. So something is.
Now first you tell me whether you agree with him or you disagree with him.
Yes, someone's.
How many of you agree with him? Put your hands up. How many of you disagree with him? Put your hands up. You disagree with him. And the rest are unsure or they are afraid of giving the wrong answer. Okay, I will state my position first. Okay? I agree with him, but with a caveat. What he is logically saying makes sense, but there is a big caveat there. But before I give my caveat, I want to hear Krishnamurti Prabhu's view. And maybe my caveat is the same as your disagreement.
I'm going to say that you're attached to it. There's no question of attached, too much attached to it. Either attached or you're detached. So while you may enjoy this, you may experience it, you are neither happy nor sad. It is because we are in a different world, so we cannot but be exposed to the impressions of the senses. But we don't let that affect our inner being. If today, say, somebody hits me, I don't get angry. Or somebody flatters me also, I don't enjoy it. Okay. So, I mean, maybe I'm not going to get an example. I'm saying, the moment you say that, yes, I want a nice cushion so I'm comfortable. But I'm not attached to the cushion. Either you're okay with wherever you are, there's a cushion or a hard rock. There's no cushion of I'm not overly attached to the cushion. So there's no, you cannot have it halfway. Either you're 100% or you're 0%.
Okay, interesting arguments.
Sorry,
Okay.
I'll just add something. So it's, I don't know how to differentiate between attachment and desire. So desire is, suppose like I enjoy good food, but it's not that I'm desiring. And that does not mean that if I get, I will not appreciate it. I will appreciate it, but it's not that I'm desiring that without that I cannot live.
Okay.
But it's also that if I get it, I will enjoy it.
Okay.
That's it. But I'm not attached to it and I'm not desiring it.
I understand. So what you're saying is correct. What he's saying is also correct. So I'll tell you where the problem lies. What you're saying is the ideal state, which means, what is the ideal state? The ideal state is you don't hanker, nor do you despise. But like the Vedas say, if something comes on its own accord, and if it is not against the principles of religion, and then you enjoy it in a moderate way, then it is not considered faulty. Scripture allows you. Yeah? Okay? At least it's not faulty. And this is correct. Okay, so Krishna also says, Yukta Hara Vihara. In a moderate way you enjoy, or you do your recreation, you do your eating, whatever, sleeping. It is okay. The moment you hanker for it, the moment you get attached to it, it becomes a problem. Now I'll tell you what the problem is. The caveat is, the problem is to maintain, to have that consciousness is extremely difficult for a person who is not actually spiritually evolved. Okay? What consciousness? The consciousness that I'm not hankering for anything. If something comes on its own, I will enjoy it in a detached manner and let it pass, and after I've enjoyed it in a detached manner, I remain detached from it and not hanker for it, which is what we said, right?
So I follow that, I am able to follow it. So if I can follow it, so I don't think it is difficult.
No,
I don't know, not maybe 100%, but at least to some extent I can follow it.
The other also is difficult. There are people who say that, oh, I don't have all these things, but they are actually to me.
No, that we are not even talking about that. Those who are pretentious, yeah, that's a totally different category. But the nature of the mind is that once you have a pleasant experience of something, the natural tendency of the mind is to want it again. Want more of it. Yeah, that is the natural tendency of the mind. Maybe not immediately, but once the impression is created, we want it. So the actual solution for this, from a spiritual perspective, is transcend. And Krishna explains this very nicely in the Bhagavad Gita. He says, Raso Varjam, Rasopi Asya, Param Drishtva Nivartate. Why he is able to be detached? And he just comes, he experiences it, goes ahead, and how he is able to maintain that equanimity without being attached. It is because the consciousness of an elevated soul is experiencing a higher happiness.
But how do you achieve the experience that higher happiness?
Coming to this, one step at a time.
Sorry.
Okay, let's understand this point. Okay, so he's experiencing a higher happiness. So when you're experiencing a higher happiness, first is, if you're not experiencing any higher happiness, then all you're experiencing is the joys and sorrows. And at that state of consciousness, for you to think, I will have neither and I'll have only equanimity, is actually a miserable condition. What is this? I'm neither enjoying. You want me to be bland. You want me to be bland. That is not a very tasteful situation. Those who are purely muktivadis, they try to aspire for such a situation, but actually their life is very bland. They may avoid misery and disturbance, but they are also not able to experience anything positive. They may experience to some extent peace, and that is true, but they are not actually able to experience a higher spiritual joy. So the Bhagavad Gita says, Param Drishtva Nivartate. Param means having experienced something transcendental. So the Bhagavad Gita says, Atmaneva, Atmanaha Tushta, Sthita Prajnas Tadochyate. To have a consciousness which is undisturbed when all these external stimuli are coming, a person must be able to experience a higher pleasure within himself, in his own soul. Which logically is the easiest, but actually is not so easy.
That is the hardest thing.
Correct. It is the hardest because we have gone away from ourselves. हम अपने आप से दूर गए हैं. Yes, we have gone far from ourselves. Why? Because we have a false ego. And that comes to your second question. We'll come to that shortly. But so the point is that because we are not experiencing a higher pleasure, once we experience a higher pleasure, we see that the quality of that higher pleasure is so much higher than even the small happinesses that we may get even on an occasional basis without seeking. That even when that happiness comes, we are okay to just experience it and let it go. Our mind never dwells on it. Why? Because we are experiencing something higher. That is the secret. If you are not experiencing something higher, the tendency of the mind to quickly get attached to it is there. Okay? So that is the understanding. So one has to experience a higher spiritual pleasure. What do you mean by spiritual pleasure? A pleasure which is not fundamentally based either on external things or on the mind or on the senses. That is coming from the soul inside, and which is cultivated to the practice of yoga, by connecting with the Supreme, that happiness the soul is experiencing in that connection. That happiness is a higher happiness which makes other happinesses seem very trivial.
Monday.
I am. Just like a very rich man, what the example you are giving is also true to some extent, but that is more because that happiness is so small as compared to like an affluent person, right? An affluent person, you give him one golgappa, he may taste it and he may say, he's not going to get immediate pleasure because he knows he is. It's not that he's not experiencing the pleasure, but for him it is, he's so full with, he can eat a golgappa every 3 seconds. And still his purse will not be in any way tangibly affected. So the secret of the equanimity of the great souls is not just a dry detachment, but it is the experience of a higher taste which makes it very apparent to them what is the point in this oscillation. This oscillation is based on my mind being attached to a specific person, place, thing, situation, and everything in this world is in a state of flux. Why am I allowing my mind to be continuously subjected to all these changes which are beyond me and I have no control? So essentially I am handing out my happiness to somebody else or something else which is beyond my control. So he says, I will control my happiness, I will look at the world with equanimity so that I am neither attached to this side or to that side. If something comes on its own, I am okay, but I am not going to pursue it. But at the same time, to be able to maintain that consciousness is not easy. You need a higher experience. You need to be at a higher vantage point to maintain that consciousness. And that is why one has to practice the yoga to connect deeper within yourself so that you can experience a higher, positive, spiritual experience.
Can I interrupt you? Something came to mind. You would know better. But so basically, I realized that when you are in love, we all are in love. So when we are in love, there is no ego and all, So in that case, we are in exalted state. So if we have that kind of love with God, then with Supreme Krishna, then we can let go of our ego and then we can come to the situation what you are saying. But that is the whole challenge. How to have that love with Krishna, with God, that is the fundamental. That
is why we are going to Bhagavad now. That is the subject matter of the Srimad Bhagavad. So you are a good candidate for Bhagavad because you have at least come to the conclusion, yes, I must develop that love. I want to develop that love. So Bhagavad Gita takes us to the point of being convinced I must develop Sharanagati. And now the subject is how to develop that Sharanagati, how to experience that emotion. That is the subject matter of the Bhagavad. Okay, so good. So now we know at what point is the crossover. Okay, so we will discuss that in detail. Yeah, but we have to come to that understanding. Okay, so the basic understanding of spiritual life means the basic understanding of what I just spoke. At least intellectually, even though you may not have realization, at least intellectually to understand that if I fix my mind on anything which is transient, I cannot but be subjected to the swings. It will swing. The whole world is in a state of flux. How can I hope? How can I say my job will never change? How can I say if I'm fixed on a good job, eventually the job will go?
The time may be different,
time factor.
Different for different people and a situation, but it will change.
If not for 5 years, maybe after 10 years, maybe 20 years, maybe worst case, and retirement. It will be taken away. Or even worse than that, if I suddenly die, obviously my job is going to go. You are attached to your youth, your beauty, your six packs. Eventually age will take it away, if not anything else. So anything in this world, nothing remains. Your position, there has been no kingdom, no big company also has survived more than 100 years. Very, very few are there which are stood. Most companies, big companies, beyond a couple of decades, most of them don't even last. This is what management research shows. So if we reflect on the factual reality, we realize that there is hardly any situation that we can invest in the long term and expect to always remain in a happy state. And there are just far too many factors which can actually impact our consciousness. So an intelligent living entity comes to the conclusion, I have to fix myself. Sthitadhihi. Sthitadhi means fixed intelligence, your fixed consciousness. Your consciousness to be fixed, for it to remain fixed, the consciousness must be fixed on something which is fixed. Yes? If your consciousness is fixed on something which is not fixed, consciousness cannot be fixed. That is why Krishna is saying, right? Atmanneva atmatushta. If you must be fixed on finding pleasure is a must. Because that's the nature of the soul. You cannot say don't desire happiness. No. What is this? Is fundamentally against the nature of the self. So that is not the solution. But where to find happiness? Yes, that is a worthwhile question to ask. You understand? Am I being too philosophical? It's okay, no? Not indigestion, no? Okay?
Can follow.
Sorry if it is too philosophical, but if you understand this point properly, you will have the right philosophical orientation.
This is the most important.
This is the most important point. You fix your consciousness on something which is not fixed, your consciousness will not be fixed. You fix your consciousness on something which is fixed and will give you actual spiritual portion, spiritual nourishment, higher class, high class, not fickle sensory stimuli, something deeper, something which actually nourishes, something which you feel is the very basis of your existence.
That is in your control.
That is in your control. And that is permanent. See, the soul is permanent, the soul's relationship with God is permanent, God is permanent. So if you invest in that relationship, and God is the source of all bliss, Rama, Ramante Yogino Nantire, Satyananda Chidatmani, Iti Rama Padena So Param Brahma Avidyate. Why the Supreme Lord is called Ram? Not because you want to play politics on it. It's called Ram because Ramante Yogino Anante, since unlimited time, great yogis are deriving unlimited pleasure by focusing and connecting with Him. That is why He is called Ram. Rama means to get spiritual pleasure. Ramante Yogino Anante Satyananda Chidatmani, in that Lord who is eternal, full of joy and full of knowledge. They are getting unlimited pleasure out of Him. That is why He is called Ram. So when He is there, we are eternally part of Him. Doesn't it make sense? Connect with Him. He is an inexhaustible source of joy. Fixed for eternity. So always accessible.
So then you just realize this thing. That if you are attaching to something which is permanent like soul, probably that is a good attachment, which is fixed. But attaching to outside, that is not controlled. So attachment, you have to understand to whom thing you need to attach. Not to wrong thing which is permanently attached to it. Then
perfect.
I am enlightened to it.
Perfect. There is a verse in the Bhagavatam which says precisely that. We discussed that in the Port Dickson convention, you remember? One of the Bhagavatam classes I gave there in the Port Dickson convention, we said the same topic. But there is a shloka in the Bhagavatam which says, attachment to material things is the cause of sorrow, but when the same attachment is transferred either to the Lord or to the Lord's devotees, is the cause of liberation. So, being spiritual doesn't